Welcome to the Calgary Sessions. This is episode number 39. I'm your host, Jeff Humphreys. Today's guest, him and I go back. And we go back through a good friend of ours, Roy Hennigan. And this is years ago. And I just told him off camera, I said, when I spun up the idea of artists, entrepreneurs, and athletes, this guy was the athlete that I wanted to get on the show. And anyways, I'm pumped that you're here. So introduce yourself, name, and quickly just what you do or however you want to coin it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Super humbled and grateful to be here. My name's Tyler Sloan. I'm born and bred Calgarian. I am the owner and operator of Sloan Safety, which is a premium safety apparel provider through Western Canada. We provide a vast range of industries with PPE, hard hats, FR coveralls, safety glasses, gloves, kind of head to toe. As I said, born and bred.
Yep.
Here in town.
Awesome.
Mostly Western Canadian, I would say.
Yep.
But yeah, born in Calgary.
Cool, man. This is gonna be a cool one because we got connected later in life. So I don't know the backstory of Sloaner. So this will be kind of a cool story for me to hear face to face. So the gist of the show is I like the guests to go back as far as they want to go. Go back to kind of growing up, how you're brought up, what you're interested in, inspiration, just anything. Just go back to a point where you're like, I remember these things. Because if somebody asked me to do this, I would have a very tough time because I have no memory. So I couldn't go back to a moment in childhood and be like, when I was 7, I remember this. So however you want this to go, have at her.
Well, I can remember, for my memory from when we met was through Mark Kwan, DJ Rice.
Yep.
And it was going to the Red Room or No Name Club.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No Name
And that was with Rory
and
Connor and Bunny and Gibby and all these guys.
All the boys.
Yeah. And then, of course, through Rory, right?
Yep.
Who he had a pretty good beat on downtown, bouncing into hi-fi. And and then
years ago, man.
I know, making that connection. And it was a sad day when there was a fire next door. And then it never came back.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that was a retirement for my DJ career too.
Really?
Yeah, like forced into retirement.
Crazy. And Mark still is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still playing. Yeah.
So then I think a little bit of the hockey stuff.
Yep.
So
take it back. Take it back to your childhood. I'm really just kind of growing up in.
I was born in Willow Park.
Yep.
I was born in the Holy Cross Hospital, and grew up in Willow Park for the first part of my life. And then we ended up moving out to an acreage in DeWinton.
Okay.
And I played for the Blackfoot Chiefs.
No way.
Yeah.
Was DeWinton still in the city, or was that the closest?
So in Willow Park, I played for Blackfoot.
Yep.
Then we moved out, and I played 2 years of novice for Okotoks.
Okay.
Then we moved back in. We moved to Riverbend, and at that time, it was Blackfoot, and then I played Adam and Pee Wee through those years. And Blackfoot's actually part of the Northeast now. They draw the lines of, it's like, I think about the Ducks, and it's like the Hawks and the Ducks, and the lines have been redrawn. And those guys, it's kind of folded different into that. Yeah, it's different now. Because I know guys that I grew up with, like Bunny, he played Blackfoot. But his brother, he played it as well, but he was he played Buffs, but the Northeast is part of, Riverbend's part of the Northeast now.
Yeah, so it's all just...
He played North Stars, not Buffs, growing up. So
strange.
But yeah, my days, mostly in Riverbend, I remember playing a lot of street hockey.
Was it always a thing? Like, just because the guys you were with, or was just someone about the sport, or like what? Because I played a lot too, and I still know why.
Yeah, and I don't know if kids do that as much these days.
You never see it.
Yeah, and it was literally like the scene from Wayne's World. It was like car, pick it up, move
shuffle it.
Yeah, and I remember sweeping all the rocks during the wintertime.
Yep.
And then spring came, and once it was clear, I was like, before the street sweepers came, we were clearing it so we can put our rollerblades on and play, right? It
was just a thing all the time. Like
that was totally a thing. That's what we did and I never played a ton of video games. Yep. We had a Nintendo, the original Nintendo.
Like Duck Hunter?
Oh yeah. I had a Power Glove,
Oh, you had
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And I don't even think that it was and Rad Racer, man. Like,
Oh yeah, with that
Right.
glove.
and that was big. Remember the movie The Wizard?
Mm-hmm.
That became a big thing. But yeah, I never played a ton of video games. Like we got the original console,
Yep.
and then my parents were like, "You're not. That's it."
Yep.
So,
Was there other sports you were doing back then? Like, were you?
I played baseball growing up,
Yep.
and that was about it. 1 year of soccer, I tried, didn't enjoy it.
Yep.
Played some volleyball, and basketball at school and junior high.
Mm-hmm.
Never became so serious. I never played anything through high school.
Hmm.
But that was what we did. We just
Yep.
and I can remember, man, in the dead of winter when the roads are snow and it's dark at 4:00
Mm-hmm.
and you have the one street light, and I can remember just putting the net out and just
Shooting.
shooting, running around by myself, shooting
And
pucks.
young.
Yeah, shooting a tennis ball. Yeah, he just did that. And then, or go to the ODR.
Yep.
And we had Steve Bunny and I had a thing for years. We'd always go on Christmas Eve and skate at the Riverbend ODR.
Okay.
And we just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the lights would be turned off, but it'd
Yep.
be late, and we'd skate and
It was in you
pass.
early.
And
It was in you early.
it was, yeah. And like, my dad, really didn't have a choice.
He was.
Yeah, I pushed. Like for the story goes, I didn't really want to play. I was 6, 7 years old, and which was a bit late.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad's taught power skating in the Glencoe for almost 45 years.
Yes.
And
So you were.
I was in it.
You were in it before you knew you were in it.
Mm-hmm. Really in it. But originally, didn't really want to play, but got the push, and
Yep.
yeah, it was
Like all in.
yeah. And then I remembered that too. Like, he's teaching the Glencoe. I remember that Sundays is what we did.
Yep.
And I remember,
Like you would go to his sessions.
so I would go and I would do them,
Okay.
and then I would help. Like I would take a whole bunch of. I
Yep.
would stay for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
And then help coach or teach or
Yep.
demonstrate or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can remember driving home and listening to 66 CFR, Peter Marr.
Peter Marr.
Oh man. And the ads and like,
Yeah.
it's such a great memory.
Yeah.
Just driving home and listening to the Flames game, and
That push.
listening to the Hot Stove Lounge after.
Oh, the hot. Yes.
Yeah.
Classic.
So good, man.
I remember that too. Like driving up Bow Trail after these games, and my dad had. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can still hear Peter's voice, and
Yep.
and the break, this kind of sign off before the ads came on, right?
Yep.
So good.
So classic.
Yeah.
That little push, from fighting it a bit to like deciding that you're okay with it, was he just trying to introduce you to his passion, or just to see if you? What was it? Like, why do you think that little push? Because he was all in on it already, so he wanted you to come around.
I mean, he just loves it so much,
Yep.
and he played for UFC, and
Yep.
didn't pursue it, or whether he wasn't good enough or whatever.
I'm sure that's a good debate.
Like a lot of parents, they sort of live vicariously.
Yep.
And I think it's just a natural thing to do. My brother played.
Yep.
And he wasn't a great player, good skater. He wasn't super big, which in those days was
Didn't go very far.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was the next one to
Try it.
And yeah, I really did love it. And, I think that there's a part of this where you knew that your parent loved that so much and that wanted you to do it. And you saw that and were like, wow, this really makes them happy. And so I'm going to.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, it was an element of that.
Yep.
Had I not done that, or had I not been pushed, and nowadays the supporting into like, okay, well, what do you really want to do? Leaning into more of who you are.
Yep.
And you know, what you want to do. And sometimes kids don't know that and they need a push.
For sure.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't remember a ton about like, being super forced and everything,
Yep.
but
You were just exposed. You were like,
yeah.
just
But
here's
then
more
it became,
opportunities.
then it was, like even when we lived in DeWinton, there was a little slough just down the road. And I remember that playing and
You loved it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so interesting that the early, this is like way out of context because I didn't do what you did, but my first year of hockey, I cried the entire time I was on the ice. Like literally my dad didn't grow up playing hockey.
Yeah.
So there's nothing, he just knew that it was probably something that I should figure out.
Canadian kid.
Yep. And like,
You'll learn how to skate for sure.
cried, dude, like
Yeah.
hanging onto the side of the boards, crying.
Awful. Miserable.
And my dad, I think he took me there like 3 or 4 times and then pulled me for that season. So I didn't go back.
Crazy.
And then tried in the second year, and I guess I figured it out, and away we go.
See, I mean, what is it that clicks that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's something, because all the little stories of like,
Can you remember what that feeling was
uh,
why you were so upset? What was it about it that you didn't want to?
I think when I look back now, and I don't remember it very well, I kind of remember being at the rink and crying, but when I think about myself now, if I'm not good at something, like quickly, then I don't go in.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm 5 years old on these 2 little skinny blades, and I can't. I'm stuck, and I'm crying, and and I think I just opted out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is.
Yeah. You're not good enough right away.
Yep.
Not having the patience to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So out you go.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
did you continue to skate though through till the next year, or like
No.
No?
That first year they pulled me and didn't go back.
Aren't you glad you stuck with it?
Oh yeah, totally. And my dad has like, he didn't have a lot of patience back then. So I'm sure there's 2 or 3 tries, cry. Okay, that season's done. And then I'm sure that next year, if I would have done the same thing, he would have pulled me again.
Well, yeah. I mean, at least give a few pretty patient to, if you're the whole time,
Totally.
3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd be
Interesting.
painful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't recall that as much. My parents might have a different answer for that, but I don't. I do know that they said it wasn't like, there was definitely a bit of a push, but then it was.
You were like, I'm in.
Yeah. So
you growing up, like coming through junior high and high school, kind of like hockey. It was your driver, but you dabble in other things, or
through junior high, I was. Yeah, you were in it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Did you have a sweet jacket back then?
Oh yeah.
What color was it?
You know what? The jackets didn't come until
AA?
Maybe grade 9 or grade 10. We had our Buffs jackets.
Oh yeah.
Right? Maroon red, white leather sleeves.
Yeah. Horrible.
Left defense, Sloan, whatever it was. I still have it.
Well, I got a blue one. I got my blue leather one too.
And I have my Buffs one, the silk with silk.
The bowler?
Buffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have all that stuff. And that was like, you thought you were, and to get that jacket, it meant so much, man. I remember we would get fitted and we get the name and everything. And then the day came when you got them and it was just like,
it was a moment.
The greatest. Oh, it was such a moment, man. It was such a moment. And it was like, especially because with Buffs, minor Bantam, it was a little bit different back then. First year Bantam, I was 14 and it was called minor Bantam.
Okay.
And there's 3 teams.
Yep.
The Buffs, the Bisons, the Rangers, and the Blackhawks.
Yep.
And then the next year was Major Bantam in 15, and there was only 2 teams, and they cut down to 2 teams. And it was the Blackhawks and the Rangers. And if you didn't make those teams, then you just went back to community.
Yep.
And so when you made that team and you got that jacket, it was a thing. Yeah.
And the other thing too, it was just when you're growing up in that sport and you see all these people that you respected and were inspired by their rock, whether in the same school as you or Max Midget, whatever it is, and you see them with these pieces of clothing.
I know.
You're like, that's not even possible. How is that even possible?
Yeah.
And then there you are.
Something can make you like, even looking at like the yearbooks and stuff. Right? Yeah. It was, it was such a thing. I went to Fairview Junior High. I was in the French. I took French immersion almost all the way through.
Yep.
And we actually played the teachers at Fairview Arena, which isn't there anymore. But we used to play the teachers at Fairview, and I definitely had a crew of kids that I played either with or against that
Yep.
went to Fairview. And yeah, I was all in then. And then high school came, and then it was, Rory and
Mm-hmm.
Steiner and
Mm-hmm.
Bunny and Gibby. Gibby wasn't there, but who was there? Perry, Steiner, Rory, Nopper, Foster. We were all at Carroll.
Wait, okay, and we talked quickly off camera.
Yeah.
I can't believe that crew got out of Carroll
Yeah.
within 10 years of starting Carroll.
So I'll tell you what happened there. Adrian was a great student.
Yeah.
Most guys are great students. Perry. I was an outstanding student, like through junior high.
You were.
Yeah. My dad was he was a math teacher and principal for a long time as well.
Oh, wow.
Before sort of when my brother was growing up. But
Yep. Were you a natural student?
yeah, like it was good. I was a really good student. I had great grades through junior high. And then Carroll wasn't the environment for me at all.
Why not?
Immaturity at that age.
Just to know what had to get done, or what kind of time it took to get it done, or
Yeah, I was kind of like, there was a lot of, Fairview, there's structure and you go to class.
Yep.
Carroll, it was like freedom. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Like, I'm going to leave and go to the rink early, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
And we'd leave and go to pro skate or whatever it was. Like
Yep.
and my sister went there, Tara went there, and she was in grade 12 and I was in grade 10. And, I just went because she was going there, and I was playing hockey and she was swimming, and it was easy. I should have gone to Western. That was
your
whatever.
Yep, like feeder school.
Theater school.
Yep.
And my brother went to Western. I would have continued French immersion, and that's where I was supposed to go. And that's where all my friends in junior high went to Western. So I went to Carroll.
Like solo kind
I
of.
didn't. Yeah.
You met all those guys.
So some of those guys I was playing against or with, and
Yep.
then that was my crew. I didn't play high school sports, so I wasn't part of that crew. We were friends with those guys.
Yep.
That played rugby and football and were part of the
Yeah, just athletes.
Yep. part of the Cardinal spirit.
Yeah.
But we weren't part of that because we were so invested in what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember. I mean, this you can keep this if you want. It's fine,
Dude. We're keeping all of it.
I can remember going to walking to school one day at Carroll, and the hallways were empty. And I'm like, what is going on? Was school today? And it was math. And then I'm like, and then the teacher came up. I was like, what are you doing? You got to be in the gymnasium. You got to go to math. And I'm like, oh,
Whoops.
So yeah, went to math. I didn't know, man. I really didn't know. I knew my sister and I knew her friends that were in grade 12.
Yep.
Which gave you a little cred.
Yep. Yeah.
And,
the last name.
Yeah. And just, she was older, but then made friends with those hockey guys. And but I was really I ended up with a whole new crew.
Mm-hmm.
But the crew I had crew from basically kindergarten to grade 9. I was with a lot of the same people. At Andrew Davidson, and then at Fairview. Yep. And then that was it. It was gone. I had to start over basically.
And it's funny because all the names you rattle off, I know all those guys obviously, and it's such a eclectic, fun group of guys.
Oh man.
And I just can't picture all you guys in one high school together. I just can't picture how that actually
wearing
works.
Our jackets. Steiner was a Royal. We had the guys that we were playing for the Buffs, and and then you play against each other some nights.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
that gets interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. It was a really. It was a great learning experience.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think at that age, women are more mature than men are.
Yep.
Boys are. Right?
Yep.
And my sister was an incredible student, incredibly disciplined at that age, from a very young age, in school, in sport, and I was in sport in school. I think once I got a taste of that freedom, I was a little, I kind of took advantage of it. And so I took summer school a couple times, and I took 4 years to finally finish, but
pretty good.
Yeah, I got it.
That's better than a lot of people.
So, and everybody, guys, yeah, it was interesting. Making your way through that.
Chaos.
It's just a very different.
Yep.
Grab your books, grab a desk,
Learn something.
read, learn. If you have a question, there's a teacher at the front. Go ask it.
Yep.
Wait in line to see your teacher. If you feel like you're ready to write a test, go write it. Yeah.
It's way different.
Yeah, there's a lot of leeway. It's a great school. It's not for everybody, but it's a fantastic way, and it preps you for university for sure, and for learning, independent learning.
Yep.
So
Yeah, there's no way I could have gone there.
Yeah.
And it, like, I'd still be there. Like, I just, like, it'd be ridiculous.
yeah, it was fun, but and the hockey part of it was because then I was Buffs, and then I played Tier 2 with the Royals, so I just zip up to Father David Bauer.
Jump on Coach Child and go.
Yeah, go to practice every day. It's great.
So after high school, where did your kind of like school, sport?
You know what? I wanted to get a scholarship, and so I was playing Tier 2 for the Royals. I played 2 years there.
Yep.
And accepted. There was a bunch of schools interested, and Colgate, an Ivy League school, showed a ton of interest. Came here and met with them. He met with the school, and I had to get my grades up a bit. Took the SATs, had a good score.
Yep.
Good enough for Ivy League, probably not. And ultimately, I ended up signing with Minnesota State Mankato on a full ride.
Cool.
And
how did you know when you were like, when you're that age trying to figure out what you want to do? What is the thought process like? What are you thinking about when you're like, I want to get a scholarship? There was that decision to go play in the Dub or go that Tier 1 or Tier 2. Why is your head going scholarship?
I have here's a story. It's also into that of when did you know you wanted to play?
Yep.
I remember. Do you remember my purple truck?
Yep.
A 1980 Chevy pickup that was like Barney purple. And
sweet.
Radio didn't work. Yeah. I got in an car accident, like a fender bender.
Yep.
Stamp scheme. There was a stamp scheme in command. I was driving on Crowchild. I was going to see Nopper practice or try out for Team Canada, and got in a fender bender, and it was, drove home, got in shit, and they were like, "That's it. You got to get a job. You need to get a job. You're going to pay for this. Your insurance is going to go up. You're going to pay for this." So went and applied for a couple, Boston Pizza, and I think the Riverbend General Store. Yep. And got the job, the general store.
Just stocking shelves, doing whatever.
Yeah, running the till.
Yeah.
Right. And I came home one night and I was like, that's not what I want to do. I'm like, I can't. I want to play hockey. I want to. And they're like, okay, well,
how are you gonna do it?
Yeah. So then it was like, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to pursue this, and so
you got a taste. You got a taste that you didn't like, and you figured out the other option.
So then it was like, at 16, then I was like, okay, and then I was training before then, but it was then it became very serious.
Yep. Training
in summers and during the season, and mentally, physically.
Yep.
And a scholarship, I still think it's a great route to go.
Oh, dude, I'm like,
yeah,
jealous of that one because that seems like the route.
I think it is. I think it really is dependent on the type of player you are.
Yep.
How you are academically, and what your game is. I went to the Western League, which is also a great route.
Yep.
It's a great route for me, and I think it's an amazing route because you still get that scholastic side of it with each year that you play. But I decided I wanted to. That's what I wanted to do,
and all in. Like when you decided that was the path, and you started to train more seriously, and that was just an internal check. You're like, this is what I have to do to
I'm like,
go.
Okay, this is it. I'm making this commitment to do this. And
did you see other people doing it? Was there any benchmarks that you were looking at? That
my sister.
Yeah.
Right.
That's as far as you had to look.
I was there every day, right? She was up at 4 a.m. doing 2-a-days for how long, right? Breaking Canadian records, goal setting, writing journals, like.
Wow.
Just watch there.
Did you guys have a relationship where she would actually mentor you and like talk you through things, or were you just sitting back and watching and then going forward?
It was mostly, I think, just watching and supporting, and especially more so when I was in high school. It started. I was in grade 10, and then in grade 11, and I started playing for Royals Tier 2, and I was at Father David Bauer, and she was at UFC, and she was living just right close to the UFC. So then there was, I'd go over and hang out, and she'd come to games, the Tier 2 games with her friends, and there was a mutual support there, and
unwritten, like unsaid things, like
for sure, it wasn't really discussed. It was just observed and
just
retained.
You just know.
And then she set the bar pretty high.
Like really high?
I mean, she was right. It was like, but to have that example was right in your, right in front of you. It was pretty great. So,
without that, like,
I don't know what would have. I think that there still was an internal, and there was even with that group. There was a drive from everybody. Like I played with some really, really good players, and so
just like the peer push.
We used to run a skate in the mornings. My dad started it when we were like in Pee Wee, maybe. Sloan hockey, Family Leisure Center. Tuesday, Friday mornings, 6:30 in the morning. We'd skate for an hour and 15. And then we go to school, and then I took it over, and we continued to do that. But man, we used to stay out there for 2-3 hours before we went to school. And Danny Healy and Chris Kalanis and Adrian and I'm competing. I'm doing one-on-ones and competing. Ben Canop, competing against these guys, doing one-on-ones, trying to, our goalies trying to score on Chris Tebbs and all those guys. Everybody, man, we all had the same goal and the same vision. And guys went and played Western League. They went and played Tier 2. They were drafted. That whole crew had a lot of success.
And what were those ice times like? Was it this like, was it loud and chirpy, or was it like quiet and focused? Like what kind of push were you feeling from your peers?
There was hitting. I remember fighting. I think I broke a guy's nose once. We'd like drop the gloves. It was kind of pretend, and I wasn't pretending.
You were throwing.
But we would hit. Like it was seriously competitive. Oh yeah, and we played to 5, and then you switch goalies. You didn't want to lose. Like it was.
So it got ratcheted up.
Oh yeah, big time. And I remember actually even some older. Like I remember Danny Heatley's dad Murray came out, and you better not fucking give a bad pass.
No way.
Because you'll hear about it.
No way.
Right. And that's what it's like. Once you turn pro and you play at those levels.
That's what you're hearing.
That's what you're hearing. Right.
Is it to be surrounded, to have your sister on one side, to have this group of players, which is a unique group, because all you guys did a lot of big things in the hockey world. It's very rare. Like that mix is two unique situations.
It was a big to have that core group of friends that we all were trying to attain the same thing. And some guys did. I mean, Rory did he played for Olds, and he, and then he sort of went down his path, but he was still part of our crew. And then, and then having, Tara there as well. It's good.
It's like checks and balances for yourself, right? Like you're going the right direction because you're keeping up, or B, if you're going to take a break, then there's these checks that you're like, you shouldn't do that.
It was such a good group to have, because it really didn't matter what you I mean, if you decided one day I don't want to do that,
Yep.
it would have been okay, and you would have, your crew would have supported you, and like, not sure Dad would have, but yeah, and that crew is still. I mean, life changes, right? People have kids, and COVID and things have happened. There's you see less of each other, but you know that is still
forever connected.
Yeah, the foundations are still solid, right?
Yep. So where did you decide to go? Did you go?
So I committed to Minnesota State Mankato.
Yep.
And then
where were you taking?
I hadn't even got that far.
Okay.
Just committed verbally.
Okay.
And then the NHL draft was happening, and I got a call saying, well, there's a chance you might go late.
Did that surprise you? Were you expecting that?
Oh, huge surprise.
Like literally you had no idea?
Huge surprise. Yeah. It was like
it's
just sort of like I think it was Mark Frank, our coach, who I'd had in AAA midget, and then for the couple of years with the Royals, he was amazing. Bob Metcalf, assistant coach. They were, great teachers, and great support, and like, in your corner. And he had said, just like, whatever, stay next to the phone. Don't, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Frankie was pretty blunt, like, and so it didn't happen, but I did get a call from Columbus. Sam McMaster called and said, we'd like you to come to rookie camp in Traverse City. And so I was like, all right, and went, paid my way, so I kept my eligibility. Yep. And then when that was over, they'd said, we wanted you to come to main camp, and we'd like to sign you, but we don't want you to go to school. We want you to play in the Western League. And I had been listed by the Hitmen and Red Deer and Saskatoon, a number of different teams. And once, they try to say, come play Lethbridge. Yeah. And once you say, oh, I'm going to go to school, they drop you, and someone else picks you up and tries to convert you.
Same sale.
Yeah. So
what do you do when he says that to you?
Yeah. So I remember sitting in a hotel room with my dad in Traverse City, because he was down there with me, and I'm like, oh shit. He's like, well, this is what you wanted. That's what you wanted to do. Let's get your foot in the door. Got to call Mankato, tell them you're not coming. Yep. So,
which is an awkward call, I'm sure.
Yeah, they weren't happy.
Yeah.
So in a hotel room in Traverse City, I signed my first NHL contract. And Dad knew Mike Barnett, and IMG, JP Barry did the first deal for me.
Oh, yeah.
Got me a great deal. First, the original offer was the shits. And then he went to bat for me and got me a good deal. And then it was, it started. And then it was like, okay, well, I'm going home, and then I'm packing, and I'm going to Kamloops.
That's where you played.
So, and they were had me listed at that time.
It just happened. That's where the flop was.
That's who had decided, well, let's take a chance on this guy.
Yeah.
Which is just, it was so awesome. And I remember driving to Kamloops with my dad and hitting a point. Man, I'm trying to think where it was. I want to say like Sicamous, or like on
close.
The way. Yeah. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Wrong place.
Is this am I doing the right thing here? Like,
totally.
I don't, like you crying on the boards. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. There was like a wave of panic.
What was it?
Like,
was it the competition, or the uncertainty of everything?
Am I good enough?
I'm away from.
Am I good enough? I'm away from everybody. In March of that year, my sister had died in a car accident. So there was like a lot of, it's just a lot of
leaving
stuff. Leaving home and
I kind of, but you're with your dad. Does he picking up on what you're feeling, or is it like, it a quiet ride?
Yeah, he did for sure. But the mentality was a little bit of,
let's go.
We're here.
Yeah.
this is happening. Get your shit together, suck it up. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
We're going.
Which is sometimes not what you want to hear, but at that time it was needed. Sometimes you need your hand held. Sometimes you need a kick in the ass.
Yep.
So that was good. And we went right to like team barbecue.
Awesome.
Don't know anybody.
Which has to be intimidating.
Yeah, don't know anybody, and guys are like, you know,
eyeing people like.
And then guys, you know, you're just signed and meet your roommate, meet your billet, get moved in.
Away we go.
Away we go. And it was amazing. I still talk to my billet.
No way.
Yeah, still talk to my billet. Julie McKay, she's amazing.
How long were you there?
2 years. Johnny Hobson was my roommate my first year.
Yeah.
He was. I was really, and the other thing was I was like a 19-year-old rookie, right? Because I played 17, 18 with Tier 2 for the Royals.
Right.
And then I was turned 19, so
which is all weird, right?
Yeah.
It's late to start in the dub.
Yeah. So.
Okay, this is me not knowing much, but like as a 19-year-old starting there, physically developed, have a few things figured out.
Yeah.
Did it put you in a good spot to succeed?
Yeah, they were like so supportive. Mike Moore, who's been with the Hitmen and in here.
Mike Moore was there?
He was the GM.
So he was my AAA coach.
There you go.
No way.
All those connections, eh?
Crazy.
Isn't that funny?
You know what's even crazier? I saw a picture today of
like that's with the
Hitman.
Yeah.
I saw a picture today on Instagram of him for the first time in like 15 years, and I was like, oh, Mike Moore.
Crazy.
And you just like literally an hour ago I saw them.
Yeah. Like he was. I mean,
he's a good dude.
Yeah, the transition was. They were so supportive and like, you know, I've seen him down at the Dome once in a while and talked to him, and yeah, my billet was great. Johnny was a 20-year-old. He'd played like 5 years, so he was like just a god in Kamloops. We had a blast.
Follow me, kid.
Yes, we had a blast, and it was good because I wasn't like 16, right? We were almost the same age, so it was a good.
There's some respect and
and he was the coolest, and we had a lot of fun. And then the next year, same billet, I went back for my 20-year-old year.
Yep.
And Colton Moore was my roommate.
Seriously.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, Colton Moore was my roommate, which was fun. He didn't play a lot that year. He had a broken scaphoid, so he didn't play much. But and he had just signed with the Bruins, and we still had a ton of fun that year. And Julie was our billet, and we had really good teams. Played with Scotty Upshaw, Jared Allen, and the Calgarian.
Yep.
We had good teams. I think we won the division both years, and we lost in the first round both years.
No way.
Yeah, once to Spokane, and then once to Kelowna. Yeah.
Once you were there, were you okay with the decision? You know, to opt out of school and to know that this was kind of your path to get to the show.
Yeah, I was all in. Once the season started, and playing the first games, I think I had 2 or 3 assists in my first game. We beat Seattle. And I was like, all right, let's do this.
I got this.
Yeah. And the team, it was fun. It was just so good. Great city. Great organization.
Yep.
Like
fans love you, love the team.
So good, man. Yeah. Such a great place. I just have, a big place in my heart for that, for Kamloops and for my billet and just my experience there. Yeah, it was so fun.
And then you retire, and then 20-year-old, your season's done.
Season's done.
Then do you have a plan?
Actually, you know what's funny? Ben Knopp gets traded from Moose Jaw to Kamloops in my last year.
No way.
Yeah. And Dean Evison was my coach in Kamloops, and he ends up being my assistant coach in Washington for 3 years, which was...
It's just all supposed to.
Oh, man. It's just so funny how it works out. But Knopper gets traded to Kamloops, which made it even more fun. We had, right? He's lighting it up, and he's drafted by Columbus.
Okay.
And
he was that good, eh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He scored, I think that last year he might have scored 40.
No way.
Yeah. So he gets drafted, and then season's over, and we go together, which was nice. We go to Syracuse to play end of the season. And season's ending in Syracuse, and they're going to playoffs. I played 2 games. I'll never forget. We played, we're in Albany, and we're in Albany, and I remember in the first shifts, first period, go back to get a puck and just get absolutely run through the boards. And then the guy must have thought I was going to do something, but I like collect myself and then drop the gloves and fight. And not sure what that looked like, but my stats are like 2 games played, 5 PIMs, no points.
Solid.
Yeah. So then I just stuck around for playoffs and,
Yeah.
watch and.
Yep. Learn anything? Were you just picking up on subtleties or just kind of taking it all in to kind of, were you gauging yourself or where you fit in the pecking order?
Yeah, you're kind of looking, I guess, to see who's you're going to be, who's going to be in camp next year, and
Yep.
who you're going to be competing.
You're already thinking
with.
about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like who's signed?
Yep.
Who's on an American League deal? Who's
Yep.
on an NHL deal? Who's going to be in camp next year?
Yep.
And yeah, you're just learning. You're taking in a lot. You try and keep your mouth shut. Learning how to be a pro, right? Like you're coming from junior where you think you're the shit, and
Yep.
you're not. You're zero.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, navigating a lot. You're away from. I mean, in Kamloops, you have a billet. You're away from home, but you have a billet.
Yeah, it's still like family.
Yeah, she's like your mom. You
Yeah.
take care, does your laundry, and cooks your meals, and
Takes care of you.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're not. Now you don't have that. So you're learning how to just be on your own.
Just figure it out.
And it was great. I was raised well and know how to cook and clean and
Interact with people and just kind of like maneuver.
And so then went back for the summer and trained, and they actually brought us in that first summer. They brought us into Columbus. Like, I don't even know how much. It felt like a lot. And we were doing 2 days there where Kevin Deneen was kind of the player development guy. And so we were in there. They put us in an apartment and to go in the morning and either lift or skate, get absolutely killed, go home, eat, sleep a bit, go back on the ice, do whatever it was. And we do that for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. I can't remember what we did.
Work.
And then we go home and join our normal programs. And then we came to camp, and yeah.
And all this, like, when you're kind of working through this, does it feel like you've accomplished something, or was there always that drive to keep pushing? Like you got to a point, which is great, but you just had that drive to keep going to the next thing, whatever that was in your head.
Yeah, like I still want to play in the NHL.
Yep.
Like that was my goal.
Yep.
And training in the summer and choosing not to go out.
Yep.
You're making choices continually that impact that drive and that goal.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was, and man, those first few years pro it's not super fun. You're trying to find your way, you're trying to find your game, you're trying to learn. You're playing 4 games and 5 nights, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, traveling, riding the bus.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Grind.
Getting sent down.
Yep.
Getting sent down to the minors, to the East Coast League, playing in Dayton. Then you're trying to figure that out, and you're trying to get back up again. And
the pressure and the stress.
Yeah.
High throughout the entire period.
Totally, for sure.
Did you have the opportunity to actually enjoy it?
Good question.
Like maybe not there, but like as you kind of moved on and kept climbing, like
like it was still enjoyable. Like it was still, you're having fun, and like you have to, like, not everything is going to be super fun and awesome every day. And like you're losing, you're playing like shit.
Yep.
You're hurt, you're dealing with injuries. Like that first year, I remember go to camp in Columbus, right? First full year, go to camp in Columbus, get sent down. you're expecting it. I'm not good enough to play.
Yep.
Get sent down to go through camp in Syracuse. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to play in Syracuse. Get cut
Down.
Get sent to Dayton. I remember, just being devastated.
What do you think? And what, like devastated to a point where you're like, well, there's two ways to go. Devastated like I'm done, I'm retiring, or devastated like I'm going to get better and prove some people wrong.
Well, devastated and just of like, I don't want to play down there. Like, I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
I belong here.
Yeah.
And actually, I digress. I'll go back. But the AAA midget team, Calgary Buffaloes, I tried out as a forward. I was a forward, and I was 16 years old, and that was a team. I said, Danny Healy and Calanis, like it was just star-studded.
That team, yeah.
Yeah. So I got cut from that team. Same thing. I'm done. Dream's over. Dream is over. And I can think about being in my room and bawling my eyes out, and my mom consoling me, and it's gonna be all right. Like it's go down, keep playing, and so I went down and played AA for a couple weekends, I think, and playing forward. And Mark Frank and Bob Metcalf came and watched, and they ended up coming and saying, "You don't belong down here. Too good a player.
Yep.
Do you want to play D?" Yep.
Sign
Great.
me up.
I'll do anything. So that's when I became a defenseman.
Crazy, which is late.
Yeah, it was super late. I could skate, with Dad's power skating. I was a good skater, but so I got cut, and so that was the next time that I felt that. Just that disappointment.
It's torture.
Yeah, just that level of disappointment was. But pack your shit.
Yep.
Go down.
Yep.
Keep your mouth shut. Work your ass off every single day. And I did that. And then
it's so cliche to say it, but when that's a decision you make and you actually do it, and then you come out on the other side, you can sit here and say it. Yeah. And it's the truth.
Yeah. And it's, it's just not an easy road. And it's really not like the road of get drafted, sign, play at 18, 19 in the NHL and play 1,000 games. Doesn't happen. The road of most of these guys take in playing in the minors is through that. And it's a serious grind, but it is a blast. And was just, the experience. And, but I can remember, I was sort of played in Dayton, took a slap shot in the face on February 7th, 2000. I'd have been 1, 2.
Yep.
Shattered my whole left side of my face, orbital bone, everything. Had surgery on Valentine's Day, and then for 30 days I couldn't do anything. Couldn't bend over and tie my skates.
Crazy.
It was my rookie year, right? I couldn't bend over and tie my shoes, living with Nopper. And 30 days to the day, I got cleared. Your bones heal in 4 weeks, I guess.
Yep.
I have 3 plates and 15 screws in my face. The day that I'm cleared to start skating again, basically, I think I'd started maybe, but I had done really much. Maybe started riding the bike. I get called back up to Syracuse. I haven't done anything for 30 days. Put on a bubble.
No
full
way,
mask,
dude.
have to play and then play, and I was just, the game was
turbo.
Yeah, but I ended up playing most of the year back up there, and then next year played full year in Syracuse. But I go to camp in Columbus, and my jerseys, I'm a forward. They said we want to try you up front, so I played forward, and then I ended up going down to Syracuse, and I became a swingman, played forward and D. Yeah,
which is rare.
Yeah, and then the lockout happened the next year. So trickle down. I played some of the year up in Syracuse, but all the players came down, and the American League was really good. Like Spezza and all these guys are playing in Binghamton. Brian McGrattan and Ray Emery and
I'm serious.
Yeah, these guys were really good. And so I ended up playing most of the year in Dayton, and that was a hard year. Coaching, team, everything was just awful. We lived in, they paid for your accommodations. We lived in
sketch.
Oh man, it was bad. And
you still like
I
him?
can remember being in camp in Syracuse, and Nopper got sent down. Shane Limpright got sent down. And I remember them calling me, and they're like, it was honestly like a scene from Billy Madison, where he's like, shakes the kid's face and says, stay here as long as you can. It was like, they called me and they're like, do whatever you can to stay there. Do not get sent down. And I did, and I got down. I'm like, Jesus, this is
what the?
Yeah, where are we? This is pro hockey, like, and they ended up asking for trades out of there throughout the year. Midway through the year, they're like, I'm out. Nopper went to the PD Pride. Limper went to Vegas. I wrote it out, but I can remember sitting at one point in that year. I think I was in Syracuse, and I was sitting in the hallway, crying. And talked to my dad and my mom and dad on the phone, and I'm like, I can't do this.
You're almost at your breaking point.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks. Like, this is shitty. This is a shitty life. Like, I can't do this anymore. And it was sort of the same thing with my dad. It was just kind of like, mom's
listening,
feeling for you, supportive. And, and it was just sort of like, tuck in your lip, go to bed, get up tomorrow, work hard. That's it. Like,
crazy,
right?
That's a
keep going. Like, you gotta. What are you gonna do? You're gonna pack your shit and come home. So that's what you did.
It's a strong message at that age, and even just trying to work through that.
Yeah, it would have been,
path.
I guess, 23 maybe.
Still young, like
Yeah.
We look back at that time, we think we're old and we got things figured out.
Yeah.
You fast forward 20 years, you're like, we knew nothing back then.
Oh my God, yeah. You really. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Bite your lip, and where you go.
Yeah, where you go. And then, so it's funny, then the next year, or through that summer, my buddy Sean Limpright got traded to Vegas. And Glenn Gulletson is the coach in Vegas, young Glenn Gulletson. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm sort of listening to offers and training for the summer. And Limper's like, man, come here and play. It's
good coach, good place. They take care of you.
Oh, he said, this is like,
this is what it's supposed to be.
Oh, it's unbelievable. We used to play, we're in Dayton, we're playing in Toledo and Wheeling, Pennsylvania. And like, Wheeling is in Johnstown. Johnstown is the building from Slapshot. That's Chiefs. The rink. That's the Chiefs, man. Like,
that's where you're playing.
Yeah. Like, we're playing in these and I remember playing in Toledo, and the glass was like, we'd be lining up in the blue line in the offensive zone, and the glass was like low.
Just decapitate you.
Well, fans, like, spitting
over
on
the
you.
top.
Oh, over the top, like screaming at you. Like, I used to pick snow up and whip it at the fans, and like, you'd sit on the bench in Toledo, and it was so small. Like, the gate would open, and I'd sit on this side. So of the gate, it was opening this way, and this was a fan.
Right there.
I could take a sip of their pop, and the bench was so small, and you'd do a little warm up before the game. And it's like smoke,
Dude.
You walk through the concourse to get to the bench up the stair. Like, it was just, you're like, man, guys,
hockey.
And you think about all the guys that play at these, like, I got to write a book.
Dude.
Stories.
It's crazy.
Interview some guys, like, it's really the guys you played with. And,
so you get to Vegas? Did you?
So anyway, he says, come play, talk to Gully.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. $600 a week before taxes.
I'm in.
Our apartments are paid for. I love telling the story. So I go to camp actually in Omaha, which is the Flames. This is all part of the Flames farm team. Okay. So I go to camp in Omaha. Didn't have a great camp. Got split open across got a goalie stick across my face. Didn't play well. Got sent back.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yep.
Like, I didn't play well. And so I go back. And I'm like, all right, it's like a reset, right? Let's get my game.
Yep. New organization, just new everything.
Great coaching.
Yep.
Gully was amazing. Brent Bilodeau was our assistant coach, who was drafted and, played in the minors. I don't know if he ever made it. Great team, unbelievable group. And yeah, we didn't lose a home game until the end of January.
No way.
Because everybody comes into Vegas.
Yep.
And the incentive was, if you guys get a point, tie or win. He's like, if you tie, bus leaves at 2 a.m. I'll let you guys go out after the game for a couple hours. If you win, we'll spend the night, right? We never lost. And I honestly think I think we lost. Who beat us? Reading Royals came in with like 13 players and beat us 3-2 or something. That's how we ended up losing our streak, like our home winning streak. So I had a great year. Yeah,
you're alive. Like it felt like you're back to what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, having fun. I'm enjoying the game. I'm having fun. I love where we live. I love my teammates. Yep. Tyler Alexander was my roommate. Great roommate. I have some stories.
Oh, dude, I can't even.
I could tell them on here. My first night in Vegas. Never been to Vegas before. First night in Vegas, and we go watch Blue Man Group as a team. We go out for dinner, and one of our sponsors was Treasures Nightclub.
Oh yeah,
which was a gentleman's club. Super funny. We go in and have steak dinner, and all the girls come into to eat with us or whatever, and I'm just like, where are we right now? Then we go to Blue Man Group, and guys are bombed, and our captain is sleeping, and guys are yelling at Blue Man Group like, boo, I've already seen it. Like
animals.
I'm just like, man. So we leave there and we go out, and anyway, I pulled myself out, got in a cab, went home. Went back to the apartment, didn't have my keys. Yeah. The end of the story,
the fast forward,
is I ended up booting my door in because I didn't have keys to get in. And my roommate, Toddy, came home and was like, what? Did we get broken into? And I'm passed out in the sleep. Dog's in the bed. And
I just had to get in.
Yeah. And we didn't fix that door until the day we left Vegas. We left it was broken all year. Blew the frame off. Yeah. Anyway, but I had a lot of fun that year, and kept my shit together. Still was very focused on the goal.
Yep.
I kept my nose clean. You play there and you can have some fun, right?
Yep.
But I was super focused. I went up and played 4 or 5 games with the Manitoba Moose that year. Mm-hmm. Played terrible. Went back down. We go into playoffs with Vegas. And Gully says, there's some teams that want to call you up. Bridgeport wants you to come play. And I was like, no. Turned down the call up. I don't want to go play. I want to stay here. Yep. We have a good thing going here. We got something special. Let's go win this thing.
Which is a choice, right? Like, it's a hard choice to make. But
So, playoff start. We ended up losing to Alaska. I think in Game 6 in double overtime in Alaska. And they ended up winning the whole thing. They were unbelievable. We battled all year. And here's where things switch. That year reset. I have a great year. I play well. I'm on the golf course end of the season, and Gully calls me and says, when are you heading home? And I said, I'm going to drive home here in the next couple days. And he said, well, just keep your phone on because you might get a call from Hershey to go play in the playoffs. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. So drive home, 25 hours, drive home, get home. And I think it was as soon as I got home, Doug Yinks calls me from Hershey. Tyler, it's Doug Yinks, Hershey Bears. How would you like to come play in the Calder Cup playoffs? I'm like, yeah, sounds good. It's like, can you, and I think I got on a flight, a red eye to Portland, Maine, and got in. My equipment didn't show up. Practiced in somebody else's gear.
Loaner stuff?
Yeah, Colin Forbes, who's here in Calgary, he skated today. He lends me, he's the only other guy that wore graphs. So
somebody else with wheels and you're going to go skate in the A.
Yeah. So I have all new, put together, pieced together brand new equipment. I have somebody else's skates, practice, my gear comes, and Anyway, I played 2 games in the playoffs. We won the Color Cup. Got a ring. Actually didn't get a ring, but my name's on the cup.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, kind of pissed me off. But,
I'm sure it did.
and then went back, and Hershey said, we want to sign you to a American League deal.
Cool.
1 year, one way.
Yep.
League min, 35 grand.
Yeah.
With like a games played bonus or something. And then, went back. Didn't go to camp in Washington that year. Just went straight to the American League.
Yep.
Had a good camp. We had a really good year. We went to the finals. We ran into a guy named Carey Price.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No way.
Carey Price in the finals. He came up from Tri-Cities and he guided Hamilton Bulldogs all the way to the finals, and they beat us in 5 games.
No way. Was that the same year as he was at juniors? Would he have played juniors that year or no?
I don't know if he would have played World Juniors that year, but
he
won the MVP and they won and beat us in 5 games.
That good.
Oh,
Crazy.
Yeah. So then that, played well, and that earned me another deal.
Yep.
A little bit bump in pay.
Yep. 1 year deals.
1 year deal, but I got to go to camp in Washington, which was great.
Yep.
So I went to camp in Washington, showcase there.
Yep.
Went back. We had a kind of an off year. We finished 4th, and we lost to Wilkes-Barre in the first round. Connor James, another guy that we grew up with in our crew, had a great career. He played in Wilkes-Barre. We had a lot of battles. We played them 19 times.
No way.
1 year. 2 exhibition, 12 regular season, and 5 games in playoff.
Gross. Sick of them.
Oh man, you just want to kill people. Like, it was just so awful. So, yeah. And then out of that year, I ended up signing back on an NHL 2-way deal.
Crazy.
Went to camp in Washington, and I guess that would have been, what would that have been? 06, 07, 07, 08.
Yep.
We didn't have a great year. And then 08, 09 was the big break. So I signed a 2-year 2-way deal.
Yep.
Go to camp, one of the last cut, go back to Hershey to start the year. I don't even know if we'd started, must have, and then get called back up.
And what is it, that feeling? Is that, were you able to be like, okay, I've done something special now? Or is it like head down, still working through it?
Very surreal. I was pulled off the ice and kind of was like, something's going on. And they're like, you got to go see Doug. So I went up in Doug's office, and he was like, you got called up. You need to, here's the itinerary. You need to get to Washington to get on the flight. They're playing in Calgary.
No way.
Yeah. And I'm like,
you could even script it like.
No. And Bruce Boudreau was our coach. He was my coach in Hershey for those years, and then he went up. He replaced Glenn Hanlon, and he's a guy that was like a career minor leaguer. He's in the American League Hall of Fame. He was an unbelievable player. I think he played some NHL games, but he never stuck. But he was like, he knew that we were playing. He knew what the schedule was, and he knew that he would know I was from Calgary. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And he'd never admit that probably, but, so, and I'm like, holy shit. So I like race home, throw a suit in a bag, pack up, 2 hours drive from Hershey to Dulles Airport.
Yep.
Drive in on the tarmac. Guys are waiting. Plane's waiting for me. Get on the plane. Hey guys. And we fly to Calgary. And I'm like landing. I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking at the Saddle Dome
You're
and
home.
the Calgary Tower. And I'm like, I haven't been home in October for, I don't know, since I was 18 years old. Like,
crazy.
For 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is weird. This feels weird. And so land and do the media tour. And my brother's working downtown. Call my brother. Like, what are you doing? Everybody knew, right? And my dad, actually, this is what the funny part of the story, but he had driven my vehicle down to Hershey. 36 hours or whatever it is. drove to Hershey, was going to stay with me, watch home opener, and stay and take in a bunch of games.
Yep.
And then I was like, I got called up. He was there, and he was just like, so he's like, holy shit, I got to get home.
So
I got to find a way. So he ends up trying, like, getting flights, changing flights, and he landed on game day morning and went from the airport to the Saddle Dome to watch morning skate.
Crazy.
And when I got in, called my brother, walked downtown to see him. We're staying at in Eau Claire, and met him. We took the C train, got picked up, went to my mom's, had dinner, hung out. My buddy Steve Bunny drove me back down to the hotel and tried to sleep.
You can't like when you're in that moment. What is it? Is it feel like a dream? Is it like this is what's supposed to be happening right now? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, those like couple days or 36 hours, 24 hours, we weren't here very long. Felt, I didn't feel in my body. It was a very surreal experience. And I can remember after finishing eating at my mom's, I was like, I got to go back to the hotel. Just to things were creeping up. I was like nervous, and I'm like, I got to go back, and sat and visited with my buddy for a while, and then went in. And Chris Clark was my roommate, who was the captain of Washington at that time. Yeah, which was great to be with, and played for the Flames. He was there for their run, right? And and then morning skate. Once I got to the rink in the morning and got on the ice, it's very funny. Then it was like,
you got this.
Yeah,
this is what I do.
Let's go. And
was that Lankow that game?
Yeah.
So I was there.
You were?
Yeah.
Crazy. So many guys talk about that being there. And I went back, tried to sleep, right? Have a meal, tried to nap, and then go back for the game. And I remember warming up downstairs in the tunnel, and my minor bantam coach, Joe Deere, comes up, says hi, congrats. And I was like,
oh God.
Yeah. Minor bantam coach with the Buffs and the Bisons comes up and says congrats and good luck, and that was super cool. And played, and then as you know, my second shift, hit Damon Lankow,
ran him, and it's just like you could kind of tell he was there because of you, because there was just people jumping up in the middle of the dome for no reason, because the Flames got run. And we were just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was such a crazy, and then I got jumped, and I wish the outcome but the fight would have been better. But it was, it was super crazy. I can remember that moment of, I think it was Joe Vandermeer, Jim Vandermeer.
Yep.
Had like banked a pass off the boards. And Lankow was just going for it. And it was my second shift. Guys changed, and I was coming from the bench. And I was coming straight across, and Lankow was coming up, and the bank passed. And I was like, does he see me?
Nope.
And he's going for it. And then it was just like slow motion.
So funny, man.
Yeah. That was crazy.
It's crazy.
And then we played Phoenix, and then we went to Dallas, and Dallas I scored my first goal.
And all that, like you said earlier, you know, the path of getting drafted, you know, playing right away, and that doesn't happen. So your path, let's say it's the normal path.
Yeah.
Once you've reached that, what are you thinking? Now I really want this. Now I got to stick, or is it always? Or do you have the opportunity to enjoy it?
Yeah, that moment I was like super enjoyable, but then it was like, hey. And the whole trip was, right, 3 games.
Yep.
Then I got sent down.
Yep.
Right. And so you kind of think, wow, that was incredible. Okay, I got to get back to work.
Yep.
How do I stay?
Yep.
And I drove that highway 2 hours to the airport. Fuck, I don't know how many times that year. And up and down, up and down, up and down. But and then the next year I made it out of camp and stuck. So going back, it was like you're there, you did it.
Yeah.
But then it was like, I'm not there.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I haven't. Let's make this a regular be there. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wild.
but yeah, and then you're just, yeah, I remember going back and just being like, man, it's just oozing confidence. And like,
The chat with your dad, was that one like?
yeah, that was, well, and then I got to see all my family go up into the stands after, and that was quick, right? Because we got to get the bus. We flew out that night to Phoenix. So you just sort of, hey, thanks for coming. Good to see you. You know, thanks for everything. And
the shuffle.
Yeah. I know a couple guys said they saw my dad. You know, he's like sweating and just like
playing every shift.
He's like so excited, and you know, dream for him too, right?
So now looking back at all of it, you know, like all the experiences that you lived through that sport, can you look back now and pull things out, you know, on different perspective on like why things happened, or you're like, this is like, can you take these lessons and now put them towards what you're up to now? Can you be reflective yet?
Yeah, for sure. It's taken some time. Managing the transition for a few years was, I just trying to find my way and find myself, find who I was, searching for a while. But I think in the last, not that long really, where I've been able to look back and think on it more, and think about what it meant, what certain things meant, what the whole career meant to me. You know, lessons. Oh man, for sure, taking those things. And,
you know, sorry, the one thing that jumped in my head as you were telling the story was just that, you know, when you're down, feeling like you're down and out, and you know, the only option is to just keep going. Which, you know, fast forward now, owning your own business, there's nobody there that's going to give you a pat on the back and be like, go do this, go figure it out. Like, wake up and go fight. Like,
that leads into a story that correlates right back to sitting in that hallway in Syracuse and calling my parents and being, you know, I bought this business in October 2015. Okay. And it was Kootenai Gloves and Imports at that time, Ltd. It was ran out of Cranbrook for 16 years. My buddy and my dad's ran it, built it up from nothing into this, you know, driving a minivan and trailer around Western Canada, working mostly gloves, really. And I bought it in 2015, and we've rebranded, and we really are more head to toe safety apparel. Yep. But I can remember sitting at my computer, you know, probably in November of 2015, a month or two in.
It's like fresh. And
being like, I can't fucking do this.
I did the wrong thing.
Yeah. Those are exactly my words. I made the wrong choice. I can't do this. This is, I guess it's too much. Yeah. Like, cause it was just, you know, and learned a lot with business in terms of doing your due diligence and non-competes. Yep. And making sure that transition is in place where the previous owner is going to help you. Yep. Right? That didn't happen. He fucked off to Phoenix, and I was left holding this company in my hands. What are you going to do? Are you going to, is it going to go into the tank, or are you going to, so let's go. Let's do this. Is it, you said the same thing twice now, right? Obviously on your way to Kamloops. Yeah. And doing this too. But it's both kind of have worked out, right? Like you've taken the path that is work and head down and go. Yeah. And I think that I would suspect that a lot of, I don't know, maybe you've had moments of fear, doubt in what you're doing. Yep. And all entrepreneurs have it. And you, at that time, you have a choice, right? Humans are funny. We despise change. Our brains despise change. But change happens every single day. Like we're changing. Everything is always. And when the big things come, you have a choice. And really, and what I've learned is you just push through. That's it. Because what else do you do, right? And I'm glad now that I did get the push, right, from my parents and from my dad, because and it's a tough call because you want to be supportive, right? And if your kid's really struggling, being like, listen, do what feels right. If you think you got to pack your shit and come home, then do that. But no, it's like, this is what you want. This is what you've wanted since you were 16, 15 years old. Go get it. So
a tough lesson at a young age to have that. But then when you got your own business and you have that card in your back pocket, you're like, this is my move. This is what I do.
Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, definitely that moment for sure was that moment of like, man. But I'm glad that I kept going. It's worked out.
Yeah, like 6 years in, 6 years-ish.
Yeah, 6 years in, a rebrand. And, we went through part of it. I bought it. Oil had gone from $80 to $40, $30 a barrel, whatever it was, right? So as soon as I take this over, things just go absolutely south.
Budgets are gone. People are getting laid off. Companies are amalgamating. I don't know who you're contacting anymore. People are getting laid off. There was so much change and turnover, and you're going through a contact list, right? On the phone, driving. I remember driving out to Manitoba, all the way out to Virden, Manitoba, and back, hitting all these. Crazy.
And you just sort of, and then it maintain
just goes.
I don't know.
Did you always know you wanted to do your own thing, or was this part of the transition of after you're done playing hockey?
No, I think I ended up taking a job in oil and gas. In that point, I talked about taking a step. Are you going to go keep playing? You're going to go to Europe and keep playing, or are you going to join working, I'd say the working world? I remember,
which is so funny. You say that with like a grin in your face,
Well, it was funny. It was because I know I had an experience with somebody being like, "When are you going to quit and get a real job?" And like, I did that was my job. That's the real job.
Like work.
Yeah. It's the best job in the world I had for a long time. But I joined oil and, I didn't know what to do. And guys are like, well, start coming to some oil and gas noon hour skates. And,
meet some people.
And so I ended up getting a job in oil and gas doing sales for a directional drilling company. Had a great boss, very supportive. It was like kind of a small company. I never sold a job. Guys were like, man, great choice. It's the hardest thing to sell. And in an economy that is, in an oil and gas industry that is in the tank. So I was there for a year. Great experience. Met a ton of people. Learned a lot. Lost myself a little bit. Lost my way. Lost myself a little bit. Did it for a year. Got laid off. It's like I can remember having the phone call, and I was helping coach AAA midget with Johnny Haggis.
Oh, no way.
And Tyler Drader, the North Stars, and I was driving to Max Bell, and got the call, and Sean was like, when I hired you, oil was at $80, and now it's going down, and I'm like, yeah, no, I understand. And I got off the phone, and I was like, thank God.
You knew that it was
you're free. It was not for me.
Just everything about it.
Everything about it
went against everything that you kind of.
It was just so. It wasn't my thing. So, was coaching, helping coach. It was great. Took 6 months off. Got a dog. And then in the summer, took a long look at the business. And, as a hockey player, you have quite a bit of flexibility. You travel, and but you go to work from basically 8 till noon every day for practices, right? 9 till noon, and game days are longer. But your summers, you train in the morning, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're kind of 9 till noon training, and it's a lot of flexibility, a lot of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm like, I can't do 9 to 5. I can't sit in an office. I can't do 9 to 5. I know I need to have some freedom, flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
So when I took a look at the business, I was like, you know,
Good fit.
foundations are there.
Yep.
Love the freedom, flexibility. He used to spend, previous owner used to spend 5-6 months in Phoenix, run it from there for half the year.
So I got your attention.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, it's pretty good. So then I, you know, bought it, and yeah, well, like I said, the industry was
Mm-hmm. Hell.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty scary for a while.
And being your own, like being by yourself again, like you
Yeah.
kind of touched on it, right? There's
Yeah, I did have a guy in Cranbrook that kind of came along with it. That
Yep.
he did a lot of the work when in the winter months when Doug was in Phoenix. And,
Yep.
But yeah, no,
It's on you.
It's on you. Yeah,
Wait.
it's on everything.
Good and bad, right? People,
Yeah.
you know, from the outside, when they understand you own your own business, they always go to like the high points. Oh, you can make your own schedule and do what you want and all
Yeah.
these things.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
what's
they say
really
like, oh
happening-
man, you go out and having lunches and you're
Yeah.
like doing your thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, I work for that.
Totally. And you know, those internal moments at 9:00 at night when you're working through a problem,
Yeah.
the ones at 10:00 on a Sunday morning when you're still working through something else,
Totally.
a direction, like
Yeah.
it's hours and hours that are moving this thing forward.
Yeah. Have you found that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brains.
It's a 7-day a week.
Yeah.
You know, I can go play hockey on Friday at noon, which is great. And my Friday afternoons are a little loose, but you know, I know that I have to make up for it, right? I know Saturday's work day, I know Sunday's a work day,
Yeah.
and I know that Tuesdays might go till 10:00 at night, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's what I want.
Yeah. And lots of people don't see that. I don't. They,
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody sees the.
The easy part, right?
Yeah.
You're cutting out to go to a charity event, or you're going to go play noon-hour hockey or
I
golf
know,
or whatever. And they're like,
exactly.
oh, you got it so good. You're
I
your own
know.
boss, make your own hours. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
different.
I know for sure.
This has been really cool, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, to kick this whole thing off, like we caught up later in life, so it's really cool to hear your story and just like I really enjoy talking to athletes because of their dedication and their thought process and the path they take to accomplish something. I feel like it's a big commitment and big sacrifice. So sitting down with you was really cool. So
Yeah.
I
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You know, the one question I ask, you know, when I say Calgary, where's your
Yeah.
head go?
Yeah. We spoke before a little bit. I was just driving to Saskatchewan with my brother and mentioned this, and I mentioned the question. And I was like, yeah, I really had to think about that. And when I played, whenever the season was over, guys would take off. I always laugh about Adrian. He was like, I always was admired so much his independence, and we'd be like, Fozzie, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm in Morocco right now, or like wherever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I always wanted to come home. This is, I always just wanted to come home and be with that crew, see my friends, be with my family, be with my mom and mom and dad and my brother and his wife Camille and the kids. I always want to come back here. At Christmas time, you know, we'd get a couple days off.
Yeah.
I'd fly home for 36 hours. Right. I always wanted to come home. But one thing that I do feel being back here now and running a business is that I missed a large section there, like between 18 and 32 years old.
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I was only home for 2 or 3 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely didn't get embedded into the fabric of Calgary.
Yep.
Into the community, into going to university and, you know, working my way into an internship and getting a job and doing whatever, being here.
Yep.
I missed a lot of stuff. So I don't, you know, there's part of me that feels, I don't feel like I'm fully
Yep.
in it.
Yep. working towards it though?
Yeah, like trying to work towards it and like have ideas and like there's definitely charities and stuff I like to support here and
Yep.
And like I said, my business is Western Canada.
Mhm.
We're not just a Calgary business. We are,
Yep.
and I feel like I'm a Western Canadian kid.
Mm.
I have roots in Saskatchewan, the family farm where I spent summers.
Mhm.
My dad's side, the family farm in Delia,
Yep.
where we spent so much time and have, my fondest memories are from spending time on the farm. And then, playing hockey in Kamloops and having family out in BC.
Yep.
I feel my roots really do go across Western Canada, and they're not just Calgary based. So, I guess working on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But it is a very, like, I always remember when I'm flying in and looking out, and seeing downtown, and then landing and being like, it was such a good feeling, like feeling of being home. That was
and that's why at the end of every season, you're ready to come back.
Yeah. So, and it was just such a comfort being here, being back here. So that's what it means to me now. And in terms of the community, I mean, I do lots of, with the alumni, Flames alumni, we do lots of charity work and events. And I love being a part of all that stuff, and big supporter of the mustard seed. And, but yeah.
It's very interesting to hear you say those, years from 18 to 32, going to university and all these things.
Yeah.
It's being here for the entire time. I didn't, I dropped out of Mount Royal 3 times, didn't go there, I wasn't, my community, my circles started to be built when I was working in nightclubs. And that's what I always found, all the guys I knew went and played hockey, wherever. It was just, they were in and out, right? They were coming in for the summertime, they were out. And I found that once I was done playing and I started working these clubs, it was a new community. The hockey community was always there. It was just a circle over there. And there was a new community, which was the nightclubs, which was good and bad, right? Yeah. But it's those little communities, I think, that, as you were gone for so long, you just kind of, who knows what they would have been. Yeah. But now that you are where you are, you have new communities, right? Like, it's...
you have your little communities within. Yep. Yeah. What does it mean to you?
This place?
Calgary.
Oh man, this is everything.
Yeah.
Period. This is,
what's the feeling?
The feeling is like, a few people have said it. I feel like this place has all the opportunity in the world. I feel like I can come up with creative ideas and get after it. And I feel like all the work I've done, not work, but all the connections I've made over the years is allowing me to do exactly what I want to do at the exact right time. Yeah. And I feel like there's no other place in the world that would let me do this. It's everything. Yeah. Like I lived in Toronto for a year and, hated it. Yeah. And then, the minute I could get back home, I did. And I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Feels like home. Feels like
it's all the nuances, right? It's going to the dome and understanding what bathroom to go to and how to get to that, like.
Oh man, that's
what roads to take, what restaurants to go to, going to my parents' place that live in the same house that I grew up in, like all these pieces. Yeah. I don't know if it just makes me feel calm. Yeah. Like I don't have to figure anything out and I can focus on, all the other things I need to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah. The level of comfort and ease, knowing that it's really funny that it is little things like that. There's little details of that everybody has in their city. Right? But it's true. Yeah. The dome and restaurants. Yeah. I really laugh at I'm a Southie. Right. Like I was a Southeast guy for like my whole life. Yep. And I mean, I lived in Point McKay, Parkdale area. Yep. For a minute, which is just over the river.
Awkward.
But it really is such a divide to north and south. It's a crazy, crazy thing in Calgary. Yep. And I'm like, I can remember even in the last 8 years since I've been home, I'm like, I've never even driven on this road in the north. You know what I mean? I'm like,
it's confusing up there.
Yeah. Like there's roads I live in Calgary my whole life. And I know I haven't been here for a while, but there's roads I haven't driven on. And I think about that when I'm home and it's just like, Yeah. And then I do feel like I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
all of a sudden, like literally you cross whether it's like Country Hills or wherever it is up there.
Yeah.
The minute you get up there, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't my city anymore.
Yeah.
What happened?
And like even things of like stopping where there isn't a crosswalk and when people, what do they call it? The Calgary.
Like the wave?
Well, like if you stop, they call it the Calgary Pass or like when somebody wants to cross the road and they're not a crosswalk. You go anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. Nothing.
You're going to get run over.
Yeah.
And people will stop. And like, I remember this gal I dated was from Chicago and her parents lived here. And he laughed. He's like, I can't believe that how much you guys like follow the crosswalk sign.
Like,
he's like, it's 30 below out and people are waiting for that walk sign. It's like, there's no cars coming and they will wait. It's like, go.
just get going.
Yeah, it's really funny. But like, yeah, and then like, you know, somebody lets you in. Yeah. You know, and the zipper like line.
Always.
Yeah.
I
always wave.
Always. It could be that whole wave thing could be a series that goes around Calgary, like goes viral on social, because I swear it's born and raised Calgarians that always just like,
I know, man. It's like, yeah, it is a funny thing, and being just the comfort and knowing the areas and
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yep. That's why everything I do is like Calgary this, Calgary that, Calgary Soul, Calgary Sessions. Like it's just it's everything.
Right.
Yep.
I know. And Stampede and like there's just so much that's like So
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll be in touch, and this will be it's been a fun one.
I know. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I'm humbled and grateful that you had me.
Yeah, man. It's like I said,
you've had some really incredible guests, and it's neat.
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Talk soon.